Hi everyone, it's Emma, and I'm your host for 240's practice test quiz show that asks, are you smarter than the certification test? Don't touch that dial because we're testing your knowledge of the TExES EC-6 English Language Arts exam. Feel free to phone a friend or ask your at-home studio audience for help with these simulated questions that could appear on the TExES EC-6 exam. Let's jump right in. A first grade teacher has informally assessed her students' oral language skills and identified certain students in need of support while orally answering comprehension questions. Which of the following activities would best support these students' oral language development? Expand vocabulary through reading a variety of genres? Schedule regular formal assessments of their oral language skills? During whole class discussions, regularly call on these students to answer open-ended questions? Provide sentence stems or sentence frames to scaffold their oral language skills. This is the correct answer. Using sentence stems is an effective way to encourage the use of oral language skills while also providing support that will help build speaking confidence. You know what? This mic isn't even on. Let's get it out of here. We double dare you to take a look at this tricky structural analysis question coming up next. Which of the following word sets would best support a lesson on structural analysis? Ate, eat, eating, eaten, visit, revisit, visitor, visiting, sweep, leap, heap, jeep, late, ripe, hike, wire? This is the right choice. Structural analysis refers to breaking the word down into recognizable chunks to ease decoding. All of these words contain the word visit, with varying prefixes and suffixes, so they would work as examples to explain the meaning of structural analysis. Circle gets the square. Let's move on to a new board. Fluency is up next. A selection of students has been called aside for individual instruction based on the area they struggled in on a recent assessment. The teacher presents the students with a simple sentence, such as, "The cat ran very fast." The teacher reads the sentence one word at a time with no intonation or expression. Then she models how, when people read and speak, it's natural to emphasize certain words in the sentence. She tells the group, "Today we will be working on adding emphasis to a sentence and thinking about the effect that has on our understanding. I will call on you and tell you what word to emphasize, and then you will say the sentence, saying that specific word strongly." The teacher models once again, this time reading, "The cat ran very fast." Based on the nature of this activity, which area of reading fluency did these students need additional instruction in? Prosody, accuracy, speed, or automaticity? Automaticity is the ability to read words effortlessly. This activity is focusing on how to emphasize words and how that changes the meaning of a sentence, which would fall into the realm of prosody. So this is the answer. Now for the comprehension question that has your name on it. Mrs. Wright is reading a fiction story aloud to her class. She stops throughout to model the think aloud strategy. In her think aloud moments, she makes predictions about what will happen next and reflects on what the characters learn throughout each plot event. What level of reading comprehension is she modeling for her students? Literal comprehension, evaluative comprehension, inferential comprehension, or circumstantial comprehension? Okay, right off the bat, we know that circumstantial comprehension isn't even one of the levels of comprehension, so we can ignore that one. This is the right one. The teacher was modeling the ability to understand what was read without it being stated explicitly, which is inferential comprehension. She's using her background knowledge, along with what's happening in the story, to make inferences about what might happen next and what the characters learn. Don't worry, you won't have to buy a vowel for this next vocabulary question. How can a fourth grade teacher indirectly expose her students to content-specific vocabulary that they will need in their upcoming unit as a part of indirect and direct vocabulary instruction over the terms? Provide students with a list to define each word before the unit begins? Purposefully and frequently use the terms in class? Encourage students to use dictionaries when they come across unfamiliar words? Require students to find examples of the words used in the real world? This is the best choice. Purposefully and frequently using the terms in class will naturally expose them to the words and provide context for how they're used in a sentence. Since the teacher isn't directly defining or teaching these terms, it would be one of the various ways to indirectly expose them to new vocabulary. Next up, reading, inquiry, and research. During a unit on conducting and writing research reports, a fifth grade teacher models each step of the research process by conducting her own research fully. She models choosing a topic, generating research questions, finding reliable sources, and pulling information from those sources to cite in her research. Which activity should the teacher model next to continue the steps of the research process? Organize research and begin outlining her research report? Adjust guiding research questions to meet the information she's found in her readings? Begin drafting her essay, starting with the thesis statement? Create a bibliography of the sources she'll use in her research report? This is the correct answer. Once the teacher has modeled how to find supporting details through research, the next step is organizing this data to then use while writing. What about a writing conventions question? Let's check one out. A first grade student writes the following sentence on the board, but means my dog licks my hand. Which of the following does the student's sentence best demonstrate? Pre-communicative spelling, semi-phonetic spelling, phonetic spelling, or transitional spelling? This is the right choice. This stage is when children have some letter awareness. They may spell a lengthy word with a few letters, such as play as PA or talk as TK. You can put your pens down, even though this next question is about written communication. Which of the following would be the most effective way to teach young children about task, purpose, and intended audience? Share and model writing samples that demonstrate appropriate style? Ask students to create their own writing prompts based on their interests? Give a unique writing task each day so students will have exposure to a wide variety of writing modes? Prioritize formal style before introducing informal, personal writing tasks? This one's the right answer. Concrete examples and modeling appropriate style would best help young students understand task, purpose, and intended audience. The chase is on. Here's another one. Which of the following would be the best strategy to teach an elementary student the various forms of persuasive media? Have students read a magazine article and watch a TV documentary for environmental issues? Have students create a commercial for environmental issues? Have students research a political cartoon, computer editorial, and a highway billboard concerning environmental issues? Have a guest speaker address current events? This is our answer. I bet you nailed it. Are you ready for your last question? Yeah! Here it is, from Assessment of Developing Literacy. Which of the following would be an appropriate summative assessment for fourth grade students who are learning about parts of speech? Having students independently label each part of speech for words in a given sentence? Guiding the students through labeling a different part of speech on a sentence at the beginning of class? Asking students to submit an exit ticket about parts of speech to guide the next day's instruction? Inviting students to come to the board to identify parts of speech together? This is the correct answer. A summative assessment individually tests students' knowledge of a subject. Asking students to label parts of speech independently is a summative assessment, which can be used to determine whether students grasp the concept of parts of speech. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, I hope you've enjoyed practicing for the TExES EC-6 with me today. Click the link in the description to take the full ELA diagnostic test. Were you smarter than the certification test? Check out 240tutoring.com to make sure the answer to that question is always yes.